the margin.
So they're going to run and gun, Jono, because they haven't got the artillery down there to mark the football. You've got McStay, but essentially, and you've got the young kid Harris Andrews, but essentially they're going to have to run and handball and then kick the ball through the midfield.
In the restart, umpire said that was a contest, even though the bounce travelled outside the circle.
And there's Rockcliffe laying the tackle on Elliot Yeo into the middle. Played the first quarter up forward. Now into the middle where he needs to be. They need to start winning some ball around these contests, around these stoppages.
Nui and Martin. Nui gets his own clearance. Bouncing ball at half forward. Good attack. McGuinness, he might get it back for the 1-2. In fact, Yeo goes to full forward and blazes away, and Robertson drops the mark. Got himself out of trouble, luckily. Mopped up his own mess. Zorko. Adcock shrugs that beautifully. Hands it off to Beams, and down there away. Christensen, he could go all the way here. Breeze is behind him, centering kick as well, and again they missed the target.
He was looking for Harris Andrews there, number 31 on screen. Just a poor kick inside 50. Andrews had space for an easy mark.
Speaking of poor disposals, that handball was horrendous too, putting the Eagles right back under the pump.
Zorko, a couple of dance steps, goes wide to Christensen.
Centering kicks on.
Mitch Robinson. It's it's the chaos ball. Didn't quite work for them.
See, that was a good little snaffle there by McGovern, who just flicked it up to his teammate.
So McGuinness goes back to Rosa.
Well, there's no option. They've got to give him something to kick to, a target. And finally, someone comes up.
Look, all the way from virtually half forward, because he realised they needed help.
Now he wants Big Scott Lysette to come up and give him a target.
So Lysette and Yeo both there for the West Coast. Thumb clear.
Well, for country football,
called it the chaos ball.
That's an insult to country football.
You know what you get from Mitch Robinson, though. He's a hard nut, but you're not going to get kicking skill from him, that's for sure.
The game is so centred around being a good kick in 2015.
So why does that handball go backwards there, Jono? Prittis is on the march. He's got his left foot free, and he's put his club right back under the pump.
McGovern takes it out.
Well, you got to take it on, don't you? You got to at the right time. But
I think once you're free,
the footy. Once you're free, you got to go. You got to back yourself in, and but that's what Prittis normally does. He reads it so well. So we'll put that one down to an error. I don't think we'll see it again.
Adam Simpson hoping his team will be 2-2 after 4 rounds and still in the firing line for a spot in the top 8.
Needs a target. He's got one, and McGuinness is doing a good job.
Absolutely. We've got options aplenty. Kennedy's come all the way outside 50, hands it off to Marston. Wasn't necessarily the option, and he throws that away as he's caught. Didn't look to be a handball from here.
The crowd not happy, and they shouldn't be either. That looked like an ineffectual disposal on the back of some good pressure from the line. Should have been holding the ball.
Yo. And that works. McGuinness, he just got it knocked away by Paparone at the last second. Robertson.
Good running out of defence. Got to maintain position.
There's another horror pass.
You just check those balls at half time, please, Buzz.
The balls are fine. Barry and I are out there pre-game. There's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with the balls. They are in perfect condition.
Aish. Cutler caught, dragged down, taken out.
A little ear massage on the way through. Got a lot of work done for no score in this quarter.
Which works in West Coast's favour, given they're kicking against the Breeze in this quarter. We've got the count up clock again working for us. A few technical issues here at the Gabba today. See if they can work it forward. Christensen gives it up. Cutler again. Can he deliver? Again, a poor disposal. This time a handball cut off by McGovern.
How good is this guy defensively, McGovern?
Well, he's one of the great intercept marks, but now he's a great interceptor from handballs.
He just reads it so well.
McGuinness wide, just over Lysette's head, and Gardner takes it out.
But just having a look at Cripps, he put in a run, defensive run, and it looked as if he was carrying a serious injury. He was going in about second gear, and that's not his general modus operandi.
So they'll obviously, there he is laying a tackle on cue for Jared. They'll leave him out there and try not to jump with their sub too early. Just have him come on in spurts.
He's got that strapping around that thigh. You can see he's got the limp up. He's in trouble.
He spoke about McGovern and how good he is at reading the footy. I'd be saying to Andrews, I know he's a young man, I'd be saying, look, just play him out of the square, just take him deep. Let's try and take that away from him, because that's where he's comfortable.
Cutler bangs it clear, but it might be coming back. McStay gang tackled. Race on. Lewis Taylor had a couple to beat. Wellingham, Shepherd, Butler, Rosa, Gaff. At least their mongrels are hitting targets.
Some of them.
McGuinness cut off by Golby. McGuinness couldn't get anywhere near it. Zorko flicks it wide. Paparone. The crowd are just bursting for something to roar for.
This'll do.
Rich inside 50. It looks better. Just unclear. Buick still goes back. Butler tries to corral him. Goes to the square. Bounces kindly. McStay. Finally, they get a break.
Your beauty, Jetto. We got one.
Well, out of the darkness of 35 mistakes, Jono came a great goal, and it took a mongrel bounce from the Sherrin. Even the Sherrin was getting sick and tired of being on the ground.
Finally.
It launched itself back into the fray. Have a look at this bounce. Over the top she went, and McStay dribbled one through.
It was clever in the end by McStay. The pressure was there with the tackle and just drops it on the left boot.
Another of the youngsters, just 19 years of age, Daniel McStay, obviously still eligible for an NAB Rising Star nomination, but boy, is it going to be a tough NAB Rising Star to win this year. Cutler gets there, turns it over. Cripps tries to go off the deck, obviously hobbled, and how long he stays on, that's the big question. If he kicks a goal here, he might like to stay on a bit longer. He misses to the near side.
Cutler's finding plenty of ball, but he's just not clean at the moment, is he? He's providing an okay run out of defence at times, but then he just lets himself down with his disposal.
Ball flick to the boundary.
Effort's there. He's just got to clean.
Yep.
Just got to clean it up, because the effort part is there. The work rate's there. No issue with any of that.
Getting plenty of it, as you say. Dozen possessions.
Pritis. With his arms free for the handball. Gaff. Sheed. Oh, good puck, Yo. No, he was paid. Yo had a long piece of it, but the crowd didn't think he had a long enough piece. But maybe that's just the booze, or the boy went home.
He looked like he controlled it to me, Dwayne. And this is an opportunity to get one back against the wind. I reckon if you can get 5 or 6 against the wind in the afternoon, you're going to win this game. At the moment, the Lions are struggling to kick with the wind as well.
You should know where they are here. With his old home ground. From 48.
Great kick.
Straight over the goal umpire's hat. Never in doubt.
That's why he was highly sought after by the West Coast Eagles. He is a very good kick. He plays across half back. That's a grab. And there was a genuine control there for line off. But this is one of the great requirements of footy, and that is to go back and kick goals when you get an opportunity. There's a lot of work goes in, a lot of possessions per goal these days, almost double what the average was only 5 or 6 years ago. Can't waste opportunities, and that was a beauty.
Nat Nui into the ruck against the second gamer, Harris Andrews. Andrews gets the clearance on him as well.
He neutralised the ruck work as well.
There's McGovern in the right spot, the right time. Just flicks it out to Butler. Nelson. Too wide.
Young kid, doing really well in his first season, but just has to tidy up disposals like that. There's no pressure, Jono. And speaking of young kids who made an impact last year, NAB Rising Star Award winner on display. Hasn't really set the world on fire so far this season.
Hasn't missed a game since his debut round 1 last year as well. He's been a great pickup, and that's a good mark to McStay. Centering kick, he bombs it up. Buick's down there, 2 to beat. Cutler at the back, gets there, outruns them. The shimmy goes all the way back to Paparone. Beyond goal kicking range. He sits it up in hope. Nat Nui thinks about flying in, but McGovern, can you believe it?
Nat Nui was going to go at that. He slowed down because he knew McGovern was in front of him and knew exactly that he was going to mark that ball and create the turnover.
Good fly, McGuinness as well. Put it to grass though, Redden. Got a spark at the moment, the Brisbane Lions. Just need to translate that to a score. Robertson.
Well, they've got 3 extras in defence here. Rose is 25 metres defensive off his man, so he's covering space. Wellingham is just sitting there in the hole, as is McGovern.
Ace tried to fend off on Hill. He's not big enough a body for that, and he gets away with it. McGovern again.
Just reads it so well.
Nat Nui, his own clearance. Paparone. Beams.
Well, they're out here.
Well, this is the perfect, straight through the hands of Cutler. And he sits that on Beams' head for the pick-off, and off they go. Marston.
Oh, here they go. Rose is able to run the whole.
Rose has got Kennedy. He can go lace out to Kennedy if he wants to. What a spectacular pass.
Well, it's great counter-attack. Inexplicable missed mark. And Justin Leppich would be beside himself and doing a great job to control his emotions.
That's your line there. He's right on the mark.
And that was a fresh air, 40 metres away from the Brisbane Lions goal. This, if it goes through, is a 2-goal turnaround.
Already got 2. Modified run in. It looks good off the boot.
Oh, that's perfect.
Gee, they need to check that. They need to look at that again, surely.
Yeah, that looked good, didn't it? Well, no arguments from Kennedy, though.
No.
Okay. All right.
Must have been the
Parallax error.
Parallax error, Dwayne.
Love a bit of parallax error from the wing. Beams heads long. Nat Nui! Oh, big fist in the end. I was hoping for the big grab. Master to Prentice. He dances his way inside 50. Hill bends it around. Yo.
Well, that was no go from Yo. If that was going through the goals, he went up and fisted that ball, Jono.
Did he think it was going in for a behind or into the post?
That would be the only explanation. But at the moment, from this angle, Dwayne, as you know, we're dealing with parallax error.
We are. It's been a bizarre kind of game to watch, must be said. Football in Queensland has been a bit bizarre this year. Who'd have thought to this stage of the season that neither of the 2 Queensland teams would have a win? Butler.
Especially after what both teams produced last year.
Nelson. Yeah, I meant last year.
Last year. I know it's last year's last year, but still, it's the same playing
ground. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And you think would improve over a summer period.
And Brisbane looks so good pre-season as well.
That's right.
So this is a 50-metre penalty to take him to about 30 metres out.
Well, they've had injuries, unfortunately, Brisbane, to players that can't have injuries too. Now, did he play on there? Zorko assumed he did. He looked like he played onto me, but you've got to play to the whistle, Dane. No point being right and getting a 50-metre penalty.
So a big opportunity for Jackson Nelson. Never kicked an AFL goal, but he has now, and here they come from everywhere.
A couple of times this afternoon they've come from everywhere. McGuinness kicked one early on in the first quarter. They got around him. Now they get around Jackson Nelson, and being a defender and playing the last line for most of the day, he has the joy of running the whole length of the ground back, Jared, celebrating that goal. There's the there's the mark, the 50-metre penalty. Looked like Nelson had played on. Zorko thought that as well. Umpire mustn't have called play on.
Got to play to the whistle or to the voice. Like the conversion though. Looks a good kick.
From the restart. And it's not looking good for the home team here, but we have seen some monstrous comebacks so far this year and in this round alone. Wellingham.
Good body work. Really good body work.
Had two to beat there, and he beat them both and found a chest as well to go with it. Cripps. Marston. The overlaps there. LeCras. Good half volley. Cripps.
Nice kick.
McGuinness.
Very good kick. Put it to the spot.
It's been a big selection win for the Eagles, bringing this young kid in who's done well. He's not so young, but he's inexperienced.
They're 21 years of age as Kennedy flies, crashes the pack. Hill to Prentice. Couldn't get free. Redden does get free, but it's going to be a shot for Yo. In fact, it's Shepherd.
Well, therein lies the benefit of the pressure that came.
But you look at Brisbane, all hands on knees.
Yep. All hands on knees.
Look, yeah, disappointing exit. They didn't get it to where they wanted to. Shepherd takes the mark, haven't shot a goal. But all of them straight on the haunches.
He hasn't kicked one this year either. Has for his career, but not a big goal kicker. And they're all getting into the act.
All the defenders are getting into the act at the moment. They're pushing up well, compressing the ground, making it difficult for Brisbane to get out. That's where Nelson got his goal before, although he was lucky enough to get a 50-metre penalty on the back of it. But good pressure from Josh Hill. Creates the short kick. And Shepherd just positioned himself in the right spot, coming up the ground as a defender.
Well, they need to do something about this now, the Lions. They've got a few minutes left in this term. Got to hit the scoreboard.
Holding his own as a pick 7, Brad Shepherd. That Tom Scully, Jackson Trengove draft with our 1 and 2, and at the moment in comparison he's doing okay for a pick 7. Nelson wide. Gaff. Good mark under some pressure. Held his ground, protected the ball, finds Prentice. And they are all running as hard as ever, and now a chance for the last set. Dances his way. Too easy.
Well, some fundamental errors being made by the Brisbane Lions.
So is it touched there? Got to have a look to see if there was a finger on it.
Umpire's called a goal. Please check to see if it was touched.
So you heard that. Umpire's called a goal, so there would need to be definitive evidence to say it's been touched, like a bent finger like that. I'd say that's a bent finger.
Yep, that's a bent finger right there.
We've called goal.
Review completed. Score confirmed behind.
Touched or clear.
Well, they've got away with one here, the Brisbane Lions, because of the score review. But they should never have been in that position. Clay Beams allows his opponent Gaff to take a mark and then goes straight past the mark, allowing the Eagles just to play on and put their defence under enormous pressure.
So ball up inside 50. Can the Brisbane Lions turn that little bit of luck into some momentum heading to half-time? They've still got this breeze. Martin flicks up a handball of sorts. Taken to the line. 42 points the margin.
1 metre, Stefan.
Starting to get pretty hot down here, boys. The breeze has died a little bit, but the sun is starting to really shed some heat.
Not sure the umpire was all that happy with the ball in there, or somebody wasn't happy with it. McStay wouldn't be happy with that. Ball in.
1 metre, Stefan.
About the ticking to time on. Second term, as you can see with our count up clock with a few technical problems today. Nat Nui.
No excuses though, Dwayne. I mean, these guys are professional sportsmen. They've They've trained here, they're acclimatised. They've come in with a running side. There's a bit of inexperience there, granted. But it's just before half time. And the energy levels are well down.
Clark.
And that's about what's going on between the ears rather than the physiology.
Exactly right, Jerry.
Golby. Back to Clark. Just need something to change the momentum. Give them the spark. Make them want to run more. Get the crowd involved, and that certainly won't. Schofield, a turnover. It's bizarre how many turnovers have come from the boot in hand.
Brisbane forwards are just allowing West Coast defenders to come and position in a spot, and they're running away from them rather than engaging them and at least creating a contest one-on-one.
Well done, Christensen, working hard. He's 3 against 1. Good tackle, pressure. Here's a chance.
This is the one they were after. Christensen to Zorko. Just needs to slot it, and he misses.
Could have kept running, but
should have straightened up. Should have run and straightened up.
Nevertheless, Christensen set the standard. You wanted some standard setters. Well, there was one. Pressure up in the forward line. They need a lift from the Beams brothers. They need a lift from all their senior players that are out in the middle of the ground, and this is the sort of level of energy that's required. Kicking around corners when you don't need to, it's a killer. But that's the bare minimum, just the level of energy we saw there on display. It's amazing how sapping it is for run and for just what's going on between your ears when you continually run to position and blokes up the ground, kick it down the throat of your team, of your opposition player. It absolutely kills your want to run.
Lysette, no prior opportunity, turned in the tackle. A couple of big recruits over pre-season. Mitch Robinson, Alan Christensen, Dane Beams, of course. Expected big things, and here he is. Dane Beams on cue.
Magic.
Thankfully, they're back in town. Although, I think they're going to review this one too.
Just going to check whether they hit the post on the way through. Score review. Umpire scores a goal. Please check if it hit the post.
Well, the Eagles think it definitely hit.
Calls a goal. We're just reviewing if it hit the post.
Is there a deviation there? Or is that not definitive? Certainly not on that angle.
Well, Jeremy McGovern, he certainly heard something.
Away,
I think he's so fine, you'd need Snicko to do it.
Yeah. Didn't look like it moved.
Interesting call, this.
Review completed. Umpire's call.
Insufficient evidence.
It's a goal. Footy gods knew the game needed it.
Yeah, right now the score reviews are more exciting than what's going out on the ground, and that's unfortunate, but it's the reality of life. But if we can get 2 or 3 more of this from Brisbane Lions, then all of a sudden we may have a contest. Nice bit of work there. Let's have a look at this one.
Oh, it's home.
And the great Dane Zorko, who hasn't been so great at the present time, he was pretty relieved that they got one straight after his miss. 1 or 2 more between now and the half-time siren, and they'll take a little bit of momentum into the sheds.
Dane Beams' first goal as a Lion. Collingwood premiership player, big-time recruit over summer, and maybe he can start something. Gaff bangs it long, full forward, instant reply. The last thing Brisbane Lions need. Rich flicks it up. Clark, Adcock, some poise. Clay Beams.
Not sure who Clay was kicking that to, but
stolen back by Dane Beams. Mopped up his brother's mess. Aish, good movement. Lewis Taylor, and he takes off.
Got Zorko up the middle if he's got the vision for him.
Christensen turns back inside.
Goodness me.
It might still work. Stephen Martin's fumble work. Robinson. Okay, Stephen, here's your chance. From 40. We've got a game.
some run from half-back. First time today we've seen some run finally from half-back, and it took Tane Beams to create the intercept, which allowed Brisbane to run. A risky kick coming inboard. I thought Rosa had picked it off in amongst another 4 Brisbane Lions, but in the end they were able to work through it. Stephen Martin kept his eye on the footy, got it back,
good
and
conversion.
it was important that he finished that.
Yeah, really good conversion. Wasn't Rosa's best effort. Should have been intercepted.
Back-to-back goals for the first time today for the Lions. Still a few minutes to half-time. Nat Nui jumps high. Stephen Martin almost roved it and got it away. British stole it. Whirlingham. Straight through Rosa. Butler. Flick was good. Sheed. Shepherd. Sheed.
So many handballs with no pressure from the Eagles. Just nowhere near up to the standard.
Aish needed to hold that. Clay Beams. They got away with it. Buick inside. Lewis Taylor. Stolen back. Sheed. Willingham. Shepherd again. Yo might be the jumper from 4 deep. Fist away. Yo couldn't get there. Gaff. Rosa. Kennedy running from the square. And was that a mark? Splendid grab there.
Boundary umpire was in the perfect spot.
Boomerang all round the corner on the left. He's going the left. Interesting call.
To mark.
Kick-ins are important here. Golby puts it to grass. Dying minutes of this first half, and the Lions could take the momentum in at half-time, if not the lead, obviously.
They've got a number of areas to clean up the Lions. We can. That's evident today. But if they can get their kick-outs right, which they haven't been clean at all this afternoon, if they can start to get that right from after half-time, that will create the run that we've seen a couple of times in the last 5 minutes from half-back, where they've been able to handball and overlap.
I reckon if the coach goes in with a preordained plan, and that is we're going to go in with as many fast runners, long runners as we've got, I reckon he'd be savage on them because they haven't run. And that's exactly what they need to do to be competitive. They've got to go from the back line right through the forward line and run their guts out for the next hour if they're going to challenge.
Well, they've got their best runner on the pine as a sub at the moment, I think.
I have got a smaller team in. Brad Johnson and Gerard Healy discussed that pre-game. That run could be their weapon late in this game.
They've got to flick the switch, Dwayne, and they haven't flicked it for more than about 4 minutes so far in this match.
Touch play on the call. Yo pulls it down. Gardner. So now the handball from defence. Robinson shrugs that tackle. Buick.
Here's the run.
Cutler cuts loose. Half forward. Good little turn. McStay to Christensen. Good turn from him as well. Bends it around to full forward. Big fly. Mitch Robinson couldn't pull it down. It was his kind of ball forward. McGovern quick to bring it in. Shepherd.
2 metres, 2 metres. That's it.
Can't be long left in the half. Good fly lie set. Got it to ground. Hearn. Gaff. Hearn. Good movement. Sits it up for Kennedy. He's in position 1A. He used his body okay. Just held a little in the end. Dangerous kick. Just millimetres from the turf. Robertson. And Robertson can launch them from defence. Gardner.
Basino needs a turnover just before the siren.
Lewis Taylor.
Now, boys, Cripps has just come off again with that leg complaint. He strapped it up, looks a bit of left thigh. Might be that cork he just had, aggravating him a little bit.
It's going to be interesting to see how they handle it. Let's have another look at the Cripps injury. And he basically just runs into
the knee of Cutler.
Liam Duggan, the sub again for the West Coast, so that could play against them if they have to jump with their sub at half time. Clark to Lewis Taylor. Love to steal one more here, the Brisbane Lions, but time might not be with them. Zorko. Adcock to the open side. He wants to run it, doesn't have a lot of run to go to. Cutler, 6-metre dribbler. Lysette, Wellingham caught. The umpire should sort that out.
That was their opportunity, wasn't it, late in this second quarter?
Finish with a dribbler.
Bursting through the middle with that run. Chance to go long and strong with the ball. Put some real pressure on the West Coast defenders.
Here's Cutler's chance again. Drops into the Prentice tackle. Wrapped him up beautifully.
He keeps finding it though, doesn't he?
I'm with you though, Jono. I think they need to make an early call, the Lions, on their sub.
Zorko bangs it forward. Just out of the reach of Andrews, but they get a chance here in the late seconds for a clearance from the ball in and a goal.
Clubs will wait till halfway through the third quarter as that minimum. But sometimes you need to bite the bullet with it, I think. Take a risk in the coaching box as well in terms of pushing the button on that sub.
Well, given that the Eagles are going to have to win in this third quarter, they're going to have every bit of running power they got.
The scramble here. Rosa caught, dumped by Rich, got a kick away, it's wide. It sits on Shuey. Zorko beelined him. Got it to Sheed, and they get it outside 50 nicely, the West Coast. Nat Nui's down there. Crushed away from him. Maybe one last roll of the dice for the Lions. Adcock, well, he knows where they are here. Set sail with a long bomb, and he misses. Experienced player. That was a massive moment. Siren about to sound for half-time. That could have been huge. Schofield.
The inside 50s in this term.
That could be on the floor.
Just 10 and the Eagles 17. But they're giving themselves every opportunity here now, the Brisbane Lions.
Stephen Martin, has he got a 60-metre kick in him?
I think he can travel the distance with this wind behind him. It's the accuracy that's the issue. Well,
puts it up, top of the square. McGovern. Who else?
He's kicked the kick. The Lions kicking to McGovern.
Half-time at the Gabba, and the West Coast Eagles lead by 28 points. But the Brisbane Lions kick the last 2 goals of the opening half. Hot conditions. Great to have your company wherever you're watching around the land. Stick around. Big second half coming up from the Gabba.